Welcome everybody back to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. I am your host, Brent Daniels, and I am really excited because I've got a gentleman here out of Missouri that is doing absolutely just crazy amounts of business in such a way that he is an author of what I consider the best book on wholesaling real estate that is available out there today. So, everybody, I'd like to introduce the one, the only, David Dodge to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. David, say hello.
Hey, how's it going, Brent? Thank you so much for having me, man.
Well, I'm excited to have you on here. It's incredible that we get to get on this podcast and really share kind of some top level stuff. You know, you've done some incredible things with your business. You do multiple deals every single month, but also I want to pick apart your book for somebody that's starting out in this business and really pull out the value from the author's mouth himself. So first off, why don't you give everybody a little bit about you, your background, how you found this unique, beautiful, perfect business called wholesaling real estate.
I will. I absolutely. Brent, thanks for having me. I want to say thank you so much to you personally and also to all the people over at Wholesaling Inc. for having me. I'm a huge fan not only of you but of Wholesaling Inc. So thank you so much. So my name is David Dodge. I'm located in St. Louis, Missouri. We operate a wholesaling company. We also do rental acquisition. We also do rehab, so fix and flips. My company right now, we vary between 8 and 14 deals a month. So call it about 10 deals a month on the wholesale side.
Awesome.
I was just on a podcast with Gary Boomershine last week, and I told Gary, I said, you know, I'm kind of unique when it comes to wholesaling because wholesaling to me is a means to an end.
Yep.
You know, I want to get to 150 rental properties. Right now we're over 40. But really, you know, I have a saying that I like to use, so I'm going to use it with you as well, and that is, you know, keep the best, sell the rest. Now, There's conflict there because the best deals obviously have the highest wholesale.
Yep.
But again, I'm into wholesaling because I want to not have to work forever. I mean, isn't that the reason that we all get into real estate in general is for freedom? And quite often we, you know, the people that get in, they have none of that, Brent. They have none of it, especially in the beginning. So any way that I can help you all on this podcast or from my book, you know, alleviate some of those issues, that's kind of my passion and my goal. So again, I'm doing about 10 wholesales a month. We have over 40 rentals. We usually have anywhere from 4 to 8 rehabs going at any time. We just listed 3 last week. So right now we're only really working on like 3 or 4, kind of a small number for us. I've been doing this full time for only 4 years, Brent, which is kind of crazy.
That's it.
I've been investing in real estate since I was 20 years old. I'm 34.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 14 years as an investor. But for the first 10 years, okay, from year 1 to year 10, I'm at year 14 now, I was buying one house a year, essentially, maybe one every 18 months off the MLS.
Yep.
Listed properties, going through agents, paying retail because I didn't know about Wholesaling Inc. or wholesaling in general. Seriously.
Yeah.
If you are new to this business, guys, it's just crazy. Like if you're watching, you're not listening. I have this big banner in the background. Discount Property Investor. That's our brand. But really, it can be anyone's brand. Guys, we buy properties at a discount.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
And that's really all there is to it.
Well,
so again, I've been doing this 4 years full time. We've scaled to about 10 deals a month. I'm not sure I want to scale any larger in my market, but at this point, we're kind of starting to look at other markets to do some virtual things. Yeah. And as you said, Brent, thanks for having me and thanks for helping me get the message out. But we wrote a book to help people that are new to this business because you make your money when you buy. I'm going to say that again, guys. You make your money when you buy. You get paid when you sell. Everybody likes to get paid. But you actually make and create the money when you buy. So that's me, man. That's my message.
That's it. Well, and wholesaling, if you boil it down, like really, really boil it down, it's just finding opportunities. It's literally sourcing opportunities. That's all it is. So, I mean, and it depends on how you want to do it. It depends on, and I'm curious to see, because we're going to talk about your book, getting into some of the ways that you actually get deals, because that's the point of this business point of this podcast is to explain the how-to and give instruction.
Absolutely.
But it's really interesting. You can market for it, you can get referrals, or you can prospect for it. But either way that you do it, either way that you're getting out there, you have to have quality conversations with distressed property owners every single day, or the machine stops. I mean, it does.
Brent, I love it. I say it a little differently, but it's the same message. You can either go hunting for leads or you can go fishing for leads. All right?
Yep.
When you fish, you're spending money, right? You're throwing a bunch of lines in the water and you're waiting for one of those lines to pull tight, right?
Yep.
Otherwise, you got to go hunting, man. Like your TTP, your cold calling, that is hunting. You guys are out there those people, chasing them down. I love it.
Yep.
Not literally, but you know what I mean. So I love it. You're either doing one of the two. You're hunting or you're fishing. We do both in our business. And the book should hopefully teach you guys how to do all of them.
So let's crack this thing open. If you're watching the video, you can see this. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Wholesaling Real Estate. You guys can get this on Amazon. Listen, I've been wholesaling for a long time, David. I've been doing this. I've been in real estate since 2004. I still read this thing cover to cover. I still love it. There was a lot of great stuff. Plus, you really speak to this audience because we call ourselves the Rhino Tribe, and there's literally a chapter in this book about being a rhino in this business, right?
I know. I've listened to quite a few of your guys' podcasts, been following you and Tom. And, I picked a ton of stuff from this book from both of you guys, believe it or not. I sent this copy out. Let me tell you a quick story, Brent, and then we're going to jump back in.
Yep.
On the very first page of this book, I spelled it wrong. Now, I've fixed it since, so if you buy a copy, you won't notice this. But on the very, very first page, it says The Ultimate Guide to Wholesaling Real Estate. And on yours, I signed it, I think, in May. I even put an E in there. And I spoke at a RIA just last week. They had me as one of the experts on the panel of experts.
Yeah.
And the message for that particular RIA was do something. That was it. That was the message.
Yep.
And if I would have waited until this book had every single word properly and the comma here and the colon there, it would never be done. Isn't one of your guys' sayings, progress over perfection?
That's it. Progress, not perfection. Yeah.
Progress over perfection. So that's exactly why. So I printed about 200 of these copies, and I mailed them to everybody that had a say. Boom, there it is. Right there. I didn't even sign yours. What the hell? So, but anyway, I mailed a copy to, everybody that had either been a coach or a mentor, or even people that don't even know who I am, but I've learned something from them as a way to say thank you. And I didn't want to come off rude, like, oh, here's a book to teach you how to wholesale, because you basically taught me, or all these other people did.
Yeah.
But again, I had printed 200 copies of it before I had noticed that there was errors. And I didn't even care. I started laughing, Brent, because I go, you know what? Again, if I would have waited, it would have never been done. So now those errors are fixed, but it's just kind of a funny thing, because if you have the book with the state instead of estate, it's a special edition.
It's a special edition now, and I've got it. So let's get into this. Let's crack this open. Page 65 goes into what you were talking about fishing for leads, right? It's literally the title of this chapter. So talk to me about what works for you in your business when you're fishing for leads. This means marketing. What marketing do you use to effectively, keep those good quality conversations coming in from distressed property owners?
Absolutely. Great. Let's start there. It's a great point. So we do a ton of AdWords in St. Louis. We do mail. We don't do as much mail as a lot of other people out there. We probably do a mail drop maybe once a month, maybe once every 3 weeks, but we're definitely not mailing consistently.
Okay. Just
because we have a lot of competition in St. Louis, which doesn't hurt me at all. Like, I don't care about that. But we've just found higher ROIs on other ways to market. So we do a lot of AdWords, and quite honestly, we've incorporated Yahoo Bing as well recently.
Yep.
And we are getting probably 50% of our leads, of our pay-per-click leads, let's say, through Bing versus Google.
Crazy.
So
Yeah.
if you are doing AdWords, this may be a gold nugget for listen. If you are doing AdWords right now and you are only on Google, reconsider what you're doing. Okay.
Yep.
Maybe if you're hired someone out, have them implement Bing as well. It's really not that much harder because they can use a lot of the same data to put it in. But we in St. Louis, we're getting about 50% of our pay-per-click leads, I should say, from Bing, right?
Yeah.
So we do that. We've recently expanded to doing some radio marketing. I'm on 2 channels right now. We've been doing this for about 7 or 8 weeks, and I committed to doing it for about 6 months with my radio station. So those leads have actually been really, really good that have come in. It's
Really?
yeah, we've been doing really well with the radio. Now it's very, very expensive,
Yeah.
not cheap.
Yeah.
However, the radio stations that we are on, I have the statistics right here. We have between 12 and 18,000 people listening at any time during our parameters that we have set.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And we stagger our commercials. We're doing 2 commercials a day on each station. So that's
Yep.
4 a day. So it's not a ton.
Yeah.
But we're getting, consistently, I'd say 2 to 3 calls on the low end. Very rarely will I not get a single call from a radio ad.
Yeah.
And some days I'll get 5 or 6 leads from that. So, it's a numbers game. We all know this.
Yep.
But the more leads that come in, the higher chance you're going to have of getting those good home run leads,
Awesome.
So that's fishing. So we do mail, we do AdWords. I'm doing some radio. There's probably about 25 things that we do on top of those, but I would say 80-20 rule.
Yep.
80% of our marketing is in those 3 things right there.
So let me ask you, when you are getting these leads from the web, right? Through some sort of pay-per-click, whether it be Bing or Google or whatever it is, whenever it's coming in online, how quick do you have to respond to those leads?
Whoo, that's a good question, Brent. Quick. Ideally, you want to get those. You want to have somebody call those people. Answer live is the best, of course, right?
Sure.
Answer live. But if they come in through like a web form, it's impossible to answer live, right?
Yeah.
So you want to get back as soon as possible. So what we do in our organization is it tags 4 different people. We use Podio. I'm sure everyone's heard of that already.
Yep.
It tags 4 different people in there. It tags 3 of my buyers immediately, and then it tags me for like an hour or 2 later. Okay. And if I get that lead before they do, there's going to be, somebody's going to hear about it, right? Because they need to get it out there. But sometimes people get busy.
Yep.
They're on appointments. They can't get it. So I'm kind of the fail safe, the backup. But the best way to answer that question is the sooner you can get back, the better. There's really
when you say buyers, David, do you mean acquisition managers?
Acquisition managers.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. Yep. So
it's not just going to your cash buyers.
Absolutely. Yeah. They buy on behalf of me and my company.
Yep.
But they're acquisition folks.
Yep.
They're out in the field, buying, putting properties under contract. So they'll get it first. And, ideally it's within 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, ideally immediately, right?
Of course.
But, people are driving, so on and so forth. So, yeah, I mean, the answer to that question, though, is ASAP.
ASAP.
The less amount of time, the better.
When they call in off of a radio ad, who do they talk to?
When they call in off a radio ad, so the way we have structured ours is a little different than most.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'd recommend anybody doing the way that I'm doing unless, here's the key here, unless you have a really, really good virtual assistant. So we have 2 virtual assistants, but only one of them actually has a phone. Okay. And he's been with me for 3.5 years. I started wholesaling 6 months in. I got myself a virtual assistant because I wanted to start, delegating and automating my business. I'm sure you guys talk a ton about that. Yep. So all calls come in from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. during his hours, and they hit him first. If he's on a call, then they'll ring an office phone here that myself and a couple other staff members can get to. And if it's after hours, we use Pat Live.
Yep. What's Pat Live?
Basic things. But the reason what I said is maybe not do what I do is because, putting the virtual assistant, if they're new and they don't speak good English or they don't have a good personality, they can't talk to people. I mean, you guys can already tell I like to talk, so I'll talk for hours and days, right?
Me too.
I'll go all day. But, if you have a virtual assistant that maybe is shy or, they're not very personable, I don't personally recommend you having them answer the phone because you want that first point of contact to be somebody that they're going to like getting a call back from, or they enjoyed that conversation.
Yep.
So my virtual assistant's name is Dennis, but at our organization, we don't really have much of a hierarchy. Like I write the check, so I guess in theory I'm the boss.
Yeah.
But I don't ever refer to him as my assistant. I always refer to him as my partner.
Right.
That way it doesn't just kind of come off weird. I don't really want to undermine him either, because not only does he work for me, but he's a friend. You know, all of my employees or contractors or whatever you'd want to call it are friends of mine. I mean, really, that has to come first, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't recommend doing that from the start. But if you find that rock star person that you trust and you know, like at this point, it's almost better that he take the call than me.
Oh, 100%.
Because he has as much energy as me, and he's there. He's ready to listen. He's ready to answer questions. But most importantly, he's ready to listen. And it's hard for me. I just keep talking.
Awesome. Love it. What about hunting? Do you guys do much hunting in your business? Do you guys do any? Go ahead.
Some hunting. So we do cold calling as well. Coming from the TTP man himself.
That's right.
We do some cold calling. We use the Mojo dialer. Recently, we've experimented a little bit as well with some RVMs and some texting. They work and they're good. However, you got to be kind of careful with it because, you know, if you're not doing it right, you could maybe break some laws, or it could kind of come off as spamming people. So we do it mostly. Our texting and RVM is mostly done on the follow-up side versus the new, hey, you don't know me and I'm reaching out. That's more of a cold call.
Yep.
In our ways of doing it, just because I hate getting spammed, you know, either a voicemail, a text message, even an email. So I hate to do it to other people.
Yep.
So we do those techniques. However, we kind of do them with integrity.
Sure.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but we do it all, and we do the hunting, we do the fishing. I mean, we got guys that go out and do bandit signs. We try to put out 100 a week. We don't always hit that number, but we probably have maybe 800 of them sitting here in my storage room right across the hall, just ready to go out. You know, I had mentioned cold calling, but I mean, you name it, man. I mean, if there's a will and a way, we do it. We do a lot of networking with this is something that you probably don't hear all that often, but we've had tremendous success, Brent. We do a lot of networking with management companies. Okay.
Property management.
Property management, because you can get a list of people that own these rentals. I mean, essentially, they are the absentee owners. They may or may not have high equity. Who knows? But they're the absentee owners. But a lot of times they rely heavily on their property management company to make every decision for them. Not just, you know, do I want to turn this property and re-rent it? You know, the property management company may say, this thing's a dog, sell it.
Yep.
You know, so if you can get to the property management company before they tell the client, and there's been incidences, Brent, where they will ask me for an offer, and then they'll take the offer to their client while they were having the conversation of, hey, we don't really want to manage this anymore. You probably don't want to own it anymore. Maybe you're out of state and you don't know the area. However, my buddy Dave is looking to buy in the area. You want to sell? And if so, here's the offer. So we get a lot of deals from networking and RIAs and management companies, networking with them.
Well, let me ask you this, David. How do you get that? Do you just look these people up and give them a call and start the relationship? How do you connect?
Different than cold calling the seller.
That's what I'm saying. So you made an interesting point, because in some people, you talked about the integrity of just picking up and cold calling somebody. Everybody it seems like there's this easier.
Well, cold calling isn't a big deal.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. But like spam and text and RVM, like kind of can be, right? So,
but
go on.
No. But what I love is TTP cold calling is not just to the sellers. It's to everybody. Talk to hard money lenders. Talk to rental, the property managers. Talk to title companies. I mean, talk to everybody out there that's in the business.
And probate attorneys are also huge for us.
Real estate
agents, we get a pocket listing probably once every other week. We get a short sale probably every week.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's a combination of me being in the business for 4 years and them just starting to kind of know who I am, or them have known who I am, or if it's just networking. I think I like to believe that it's all of the above.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You've probably heard before, but like the harder I work, the luckier I get. Well, you know, I mean, it just kind of goes. It's just true. Like, The harder you put effort into something, the luckier you're going to get, because again, it's a numbers game. So it's not true luck. It may feel like it, but it's like if I'm getting that person that's ready to go on that 20K wholesale, it's because I've been told no 999 times already, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, of course I'm going to get lucky. I'm due,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So
I love it.
absolutely though. So
I
cold calling, let's just recap real quick,
Yep.
Brent. Cold calling the property managers, okay? Definitely do that. I mean, to me, it's as important as cold calling the absentee owners directly. You hit them on both sides.
100%.
Probate attorneys, everyone wants to mail probate. A lot of money in probate. We've made hundreds of thousands of dollars on probate. But, sometimes those people don't want to talk to you, and they hire a lawyer for a reason, to guide them. So get in that lawyer's pocket, become part of that lawyer's tool belt.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever they say, we don't even want to mess with this, he can say, cool, call Dave.
Yep.
Dave will come out and buy it.
Yep.
And it's the exact same way with the eviction attorneys too. A lot of these landlords, they're not dealing with the eviction attorney. The property management companies are. So not only can I have maybe an eviction attorney saying Dave will buy your house, but I might only have the property manager saying it too.
Yep.
And you're hitting them from all angles. So yeah, I love those methods.
And you're the guy.
But
You're the guy to solve the problem. You're the guy.
Absolutely. That's what I'm here to do, is help them. I'm here to solve their problem. And I don't do it for free, Brent. When I walk in, and I still run appointments because I enjoy talking to people.
Sure.
But whenever I run an appointment, I tell people from the get-go, A, I'm here to make money, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And B, I might not be the buyer for you.
Yep.
I just tell you right off the bat, I don't do this for free. I have a family. I have a wife, right? I have to feed my family and pay my own bills. I make it very, very clear. But you'll notice that if you go into your appointment with a mindset of, I might not be the guy for you,
Mm-hmm.
instead of them also having the mindset, you might not be the guy for me, they're going to kind of flip their head a little bit, and they're going to say, well, why not? You seem like a great person to buy this from me.
Yeah.
It's not because I don't want it. It's because you're not going to like the offer.
Yeah.
So what else you got, Brent?
Explain to me, and this is great because I mentioned it on the YouTube channel. If you're watching this, Brent Daniels Real Estate, just put that into YouTube, you'll see it. But I mentioned something called the Rule of Five. Explain
I love the Rule of Five. Now, it doesn't work in
I
every
use
city.
this all the time. I didn't even have it labeled, but you had a perfect label for it. I mean, it really is.
Right.
I mean, it's amazing how much you can lump under the umbrella of the Rule of Five. Explain what it is.
Yeah, so we use a couple strategies, but the Rule of Five is really, really good. I'm surprised that it works in Phoenix, because it's. I would feel like the homes are a little bit more expensive there, but
Sure.
St. Louis is Midwest. We're in Missouri, right here on the border of Illinois, and the Rule of Fives is just simple, guys. If you are new to this business and you are having trouble determining your repairs, use the Rule of Five. Here's what it is: every big ticket item is going to be $5,000. And basically every 2 or 3 small ticket items combined is going to equal $5,000. The only exception that I would say would be 3 things. A roof, I usually will double that to 10.
Yep.
Now, is it going to cost me 10 to do a roof in a certain neighborhood? No, I could probably do it for 4, 6, maybe 7, but I'm going to say 10. Kitchens, kitchens are basically like 3 bathrooms or 2 bathrooms, right?
Yep.
So you're going to double that up on the kitchens. And then last but not least, if there's a bunch of foundation issues, again, I'm going to double that 5. So I'm going to go to 10. But everything else is $5,000. That's the cost. So here's an example. I'm going to walk into a house. The roof needs to be replaced immediately. Well, that's 2.5. So that's 10. It needs a kitchen. That's 2.5. So that puts me at 20. It needs a bathroom. That puts me at 25. It needs flooring. That puts me at 30. And then maybe it needs light fixtures and plumbing fixtures. That's another 5. That's $35,000. I just determined repairs in 40 seconds.
Yep.
That's it. That's all there is to it.
Well, and David, we
don't
do
overthink it.
We do it from Google Maps. I mean, with a conversation that you have with a homeowner, you find out what they've upgraded. We always ask the question, what remodeling have you done to your kitchen and bathrooms in the last 5 years? They say none, or they tell us it's original, or they tell us it's a leak, or they tell us all these things. And you can really ballpark. You can have a really good idea of how much repairs that property needs, so you can determine your MAU, as you call it, right? Max allowable
Absolutely.
offer, right? And then you can go to that appointment with an idea of knowing, what you can offer. Yeah.
Absolutely, Brent. Absolutely. So don't overthink it, though. That's like my message. Like, I think we share a lot of things in common. Like, I have to say, I just stole this from you guys, but progress over perfection. That's like my new motto, or my new motto. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get out there. And then also, just you can't be afraid to like make mistakes. Like again, I was in a RIA last week, and they had me up and we're talking questions, and I was like, the only reason why I'm standing here and you guys aren't is because I've made more mistakes than you.
Yeah.
And I'm not bragging, I'm not even proud of that necessarily, but I am proud of the fact that I didn't quit or give up, whenever the going got hard. So.
Yep. Love it. Let's talk. Let's give somebody some meat. Let's talk an actual case study. Let's talk about a deal that sticks out in your mind that you can talk about that I want something that's juicy. I want something that's massive. I want a big, healthy, strong deal to really give people.
I got two of them for you, and I'm going to talk about them simultaneously because they both happened at the exact same time. So this is about 3 or 4 months ago.
Okay. I
had two deals. And they were both about maybe 3 or 4 miles apart. So they were in the same county. There's a couple counties in St. Louis here, but they were both in the same kind of relative area. And one of them was a divorce. One of them was a inherited house situation. Okay.
Yep.
And they both didn't have much equity at all. But that never stops me from making an offer, and it shouldn't stop you guys either. Okay. Because people have money to bring to the table sometimes, or situations change later. So both of these deals had ARVs of around $250,000, and they both owed about $200 and maybe $25,000. So there's a little bit of equity there.
Tight.
Not enough, man. That's tight.
Yeah.
So we came in and we offered about $40,000 less on both of these properties. This happened in the same month. And we both thought, this is crazy. Why are we even making these offers?
Two different sellers or same seller?
Two different sellers, man. These are simultaneous deals.
Yeah.
$40,000 on each. Because, you can typically find out what somebody owes. You can ask them. That's the easiest way.
Yeah.
Hey, how much do you owe? Otherwise, you can go on the tax records or Realist and whatnot, and you can kind of see when the last mortgage is, and you can calculate it, right? Yep. So we both knew we knew that we were at least $35,000 less than what they owed, but it was closer to 40 on both. Brent, I shoot you not. I can't say the S word here. I shoot you not. Within 1 week, both of these people responded back to us and said, hey, we're going to accept your offer. And we said, this is great, but you realize that you owe 40 grand more than what our offer is. And they both said, no problem. We're going to bring it to close. We won't. This is how motivated we are, that we are going to pay you to take these properties. And we made about $20,000, one 25, other one 20 on each of those deals. We wholesaled them off. They were awesome deals for the rehabbers. I also believe in not trying to take all the meat off the bone.
Right.
Obviously I'm doing this as a business. I'm doing it to make money.
Yep.
However, I really like my buyers to come back and buy.
Sure.
So I probably could have made 35 on each of these, but I made 20 and 25, did them in the same month. But the point here was two things. One, don't be afraid to make an offer low, because you never know.
Yeah.
People bring money to the table. And two, make the offer no matter what, because even though these kind of happen quickly, like within 2 or 3 weeks, each of them accepted those offers, and we had 2 closings in 1 month where 2 different individuals brought $40K to the table.
Each.
But over time, each. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy, dude. That's bananas.
I know, but it goes to show you, there is motivated people out there, and they are all over the place. So if you are new to this business and you're struggling, the problem isn't that you're not doing the right things. The problem is you're not doing enough of them.
Yeah.
That's it. It's that simple.
So wait, just for a second. What did you make on those 2 deals?
I made 20 on one and 25 on the other.
45,000 from deals that had no equity.
Boom. I love it.
I love it. That is incredible.
Yeah, so, it's not always obviously, when you're new to the game, the easy low-hanging fruit is going to be the highest equity, where the owner hasn't seen the house in 15 years and it's been vacant for 3, and they live in Hawaii, and you live not in Hawaii, and, and you're just trying to just make a deal. Obviously, that's where the money's at to get going. Those are the low-hanging fruit. But sometimes the fruit that's way high up on the top of the tree will also yield a massive harvest, guys. So don't, just because you have an appointment or a lead that comes in and there's no equity, it doesn't mean there's not a deal there. Simple.
Just offer and see what happens, right?
Offer and see what happens.
What do you lose?
Yeah, so the one The one was a divorce situation, and the guy had money, and he just didn't want to be involved with his wife anymore. So he
Yeah.
just said, "Hey, I'm okay. I'll pay 40 grand for you to take this house." So he basically paid me 20 and my rehabber 20. Look at it that way.
Yeah.
To take the home.
Yeah.
The other one was an inherited property. It had a mortgage, but the person that inherited the property also inherited money on another avenue.
Yeah.
So they were like, okay, how do I consolidate all this trouble? Do I even want to be a landlord? No, because I'm not already.
Yeah.
This was great grandma's house, whatever. And we made them a fair offer. We didn't steal the home. We just said, here's where we're at. And I'm very, very transparent about my numbers. I want everyone to see I'm in this for a profit. Like I said, I tell them when I walk in the door.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say, I need to make at least this on it. And here's what it's going to be worth. Here's the repairs. And I work the numbers backwards. And it really helps, too, because it changes the mindset, Brent. I don't know if I talked about this in the book. I think I did. But it's not me versus you, Mr. Seller. It's me and you versus the market. What can the market bear? And that's where the negotiation occurs. It's not like, oh, you're asking 90 and I'm at 70. Well,
that's awesome.
Going to bear 70. So I appreciate that you're saying you need 90, but no one's going to pay you that.
Yeah.
Anybody that's in my shoes is going to be at the 70. That's just an example.
Yeah.
So, boom.
Well, and I talk about on this podcast, if you, in any transaction, I don't care if it's toothpaste or gasoline or houses, one person determines the price. That's the buyer.
That's the buyer.
The buyer determines the value of that, of the good, of the thing, of whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I think that house is worth $15,000 and you think it's worth $150,000, and you're willing to pay $150,000, that's what you're willing to pay.
That's what the
I'm willing to
value
pay
is.
15. Right?
Right.
So the value is really in what the buyer is. And I love this. And we also have a saying on this podcast that, the people will trade equity for speed and convenience, which you brought. But not only would they didn't have equity to trade. They literally traded cash.
Negative equity. They traded cash, right?
And if you talk to the general population, the civilians out there, you talk to your aunt or your grandma or whatever, your wife's friends, and say, yeah, they brought 40 grand in so I could buy a discounted property, they'd be like, that's impossible.
That's not happening. We did 2 of them in 1 month. This is probably 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So it wasn't last week, but it was pretty recent.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you, yeah, man, it's like they just have different motivations.
Right.
And that's all that our job really is to solve problems. But Brent, couldn't you agree that it makes it a whole hell of a lot easier to solve a problem for a super motivated individual than it is somebody that's not motivated?
100%.
I mean, you can't argue that, right? So again,
if there's no problem
I always
to solve,
tell
we can't solve the problem.
We can't solve them exactly. So I always tell my team, my staff, and my friends that work with me here is that even if the offer sucks and you're embarrassed to make it, just send it to them in writing, okay? Because oftentimes now the 2 that I just explained to you, they both were just ready. They were so motivated. They said, Dave, let's do it. Here's 40 grand each to bring to the table. But a lot of times it could be 8, 10, 14 months later when that level of motivation gets to the level to where me as a problem solver can actually help them.
Yep.
So I always make the offer in writing, even if it expires, because then they have it versus 10 people come out, run an appointment, every one of them make a verbal offer. What happens 14 months later? They have my offer. It's in writing, in their email. Who do you think they're going to call back first?
You.
Hard to say. I would expect me, right?
Yeah.
So, hell yeah,
right.
man.
Awesome. So, the book, The Ultimate Guide to Wholesaling Real Estate, David Dodge, like the trucks, I guess. How do people get a hold of you? How do people find you? How do people refer you business? How do people partner with you in St. Louis and Missouri?
Absolutely. And I appreciate it, Brent. Thank you so much. So again, check out The Ultimate Guide to Wholesaling Real Estate. It's available on Amazon. At this point, I'm just in St. Louis, and that's where we're wholesaling. We're going to be looking to expand. Our brand is Discount Property Investor. That's also where we have all of our disposition. So discountpropertyinvestor.com is where you can go if you're looking to buy, some properties in St. Louis. We also are starting to do some turnkey things as well. So maybe if you're out of state and you're looking for something that you can maybe get into for anywhere from 50 to 90 grand, that's going to give you at least a 1% rule on the rent. we might be able to help you. But you can reach me directly, David at housesoldeasy.com. That's the acquisition, House Sold Easy, and that's spelled out EASY, not just the letters.
Right.
So that's how you can reach me. And I love doing podcasts. I love working with sellers. I love working with buyers. I mean, this business is truly a passion of mine. And I'm fortunate enough to say that, I got into this business to get freedom, and that's what I have achieved. It took me a couple years to do it, but I really, really wish that, all of your listeners, all of your viewers can achieve it sooner than later, because that's why you get in this business. It's not to work 90 hours a week and pull your hair out. It's to be able to have a business and have some passive income. And again, that's why I cherry pick the wholesale deals.
Yeah.
It's like I don't understand why people don't.
Well,
It's like,
wholesaling is
keep
the
the
bridge,
best.
right?
It's a bridge, absolutely. That's a good way to work.
Bridge. It is not. Wholesaling is not real estate investing. Wholesaling is a ATM machine. Wholesaling is the lottery. Wholesaling is those big chunks of money that you can either consume or you invest. Depends on what you want to do.
Right.
Whatever feeds your soul. You know what I mean?
Great point. You're right, though. It isn't real estate investing. It's really a marketing company is really what it is. I think the very first sentence of my book says that this is the marketing. You are in the marketing business, you know, so that's exactly right. But yeah, David at housesoldeasy.com is my email. Discountpropertyinvestor.com is our website for disposition. And then, of course, the book that, Brent, this is another thing too, man. We started working on this book 2 years ago. Okay. And it took us that long to get it out, but I'm just grateful that it's not going to take 4. Again, progress over perfection. Like I wrote this book and rewrote this book like 6 times until finally I was just like, you know what? It's never going to be perfect. Like it just isn't. But it's the same thing with real estate investing or wholesaling or however you want to look at it. Get out there, make mistakes. That's how you learn.
Yep. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, David. It is just, I think you've gave so much value here. I think anybody that really wants to deep dive David's message and get into his brain, jump into the book, really get going with it. And then obviously he gave you his email. So if you're around,
reach out if you guys have questions.
Yep, reach out to him.
I'm happy to help and happy to guide people that may have questions about anything in the book. But the book, it's not just a little tiny skimpy book. I mean, it's got almost 300 pages. It's 270 pages. Yeah, I mean, it's jam-packed. I mean, essentially, this is the last 4 years of every mistake and error that I've made.
Yep.
I feel like I learn sometimes better from other people's mistakes than them just pointing me towards the door and I walk through it. So that's kind of what we wanted to do with the book, too, is kind of talk about a lot of things not to do. Like, obviously, there's a million things to do, but there's some things that you should avoid doing, and we tried to load all that in there as well.
Awesome. Love it. And everybody out there, if you are ready, if you're one of those mentalities, if you've got that business, that proactive business sense that you want to be a hunter in this business, you got to go to wholesalinginc.com/TTP and set up a call to join the most proactive group in real estate investing, the TTP family, the TTP program. Go check out that page, wholesalinginc.com/TTP, and check out all the testimonials. Huh?
TTP.
TTP, that's right. Check out the testimonials. Check out what's in the program. If it's the right fit for you, I'll be working with you personally. I'd love to do that. Until next time, guys, I encourage you to talk to people. See you later.
See you guys.